Hey, well, good morning and welcome to the New York Metropolitan Transportation Council Program Finance and Administration Committee, or also known as our PFAC meeting. I'm Deborah Nelson. I'm the chair of PFAC, and I'm also representing the New York State Department of Transportation Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez. This meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be posted on the NYMTC website within the next 2 weeks. Today's meeting is available by webinar as well as in person at the NYMTC office located at 25 Beaver Street in Lower Manhattan. For the meeting audience who are in the webinar, your lines will remain muted throughout the meeting. The chat pod is being monitored by NYMTC staff. During the public participation section of the agenda, registered speakers will be called on in the order of their registration. Registered speakers who are participating by webinar will be called on and their lines unmuted for their remarks. At this time, I will begin the roll call. When I say your agency, I ask that each representative state your name and the NYMTC principal that you are with. First, for the voting members, as I said, I'm Deborah Nelson, and I am representing New York State Department of Transportation Commissioner Marie-Therese Dominguez. New York City Department of Transportation.
Hi, I am Yogesh Sangvi, representing Commissioner Idanis Rodriguez of New York City DOT.
Thank you. Welcome, Yogesh.
Thank you.
New York City Department of City Planning.
Good morning, Deb. Jack Schmidt here, representing Dan Garodnick, Chair of the Planning Commission and Director of the Department of City Planning.
Great. Thank you, Jack. On the Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Good morning. My name is Tiana Grimes, and I'm representing our CEO and Chair, Jano Lieber.
Great. Thank you, Gianna. Nassau County.
Good morning. This is Joe Cuomo, and I'm representing Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman.
Great. Welcome, Joe. Suffolk County.
This is Chris Chatterton, representing Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Rockland County. Rockland County? I think we have Pat.
Yes, Pat Gurton, representing Rockland County Executive Ed Day.
Great, thank you, Pat. Putnam County.
Morning, this is Barbara Barossa, representing County Executive Kevin Byrne.
Thank you, Barbara. And Westchester County.
Good morning, this is Craig Later, representing Westchester County Executive George Latimer.
Great, good morning, Craig. Now we're going to move on to our advisory members. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Good morning, I'm Jay Sheffield. I'm representing the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey's Executive Director, Rick Cott.
Good morning, Jay. New Jersey Transit. Do we have anyone from New Jersey Transit? All right, let's move on to the North Jersey Transportation Planning Authority.
Good morning, Melissa Hayes here on behalf of Executive Director David Barron.
Good morning, Melissa. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Okay, the Federal Transit Administration.
Morning, this is Dan Moser representing Region 2 Administrator Mike Collada.
Good morning, Dan. The Federal Highway Administration.
Good morning, everyone. This is Gautam Mani representing New York Division Administrator Rick Markey.
Thank you, Gautam. And the United States Environmental Protection Agency.
Good morning, everyone. This is Lily Black representing EPA's Region 2 Regional Administrator Lisa Garcia.
Thank you, Lily. So by my count and under our operating procedures, we have a quorum for today's meeting. We will now hear from NYMTC's Executive Director, Adam Levine, who will give his report. Handing it over to you, Adam.
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning, everyone. The following are some of the noteworthy events that have taken place since our last meeting in November. As usual, it has been quite a busy winter here at NYMTC, and here are several highlights of the extraordinary work we have underway. Let's start with one of the items the members will be voting on today, our Unified Planning Work Program, or UPWP, for state fiscal year 2020 2024 to 2025. Prepared annually, the UPWP is a federally required statement of work identifying the planning priorities and activities in the 10-county NYMTC region. NYMTC released the draft work program for a public comment period that started January 5th and ended February 5th. During this period, NYMTC offered 2 public webinars to review the draft work program and gather public comments. In a few minutes, we will hear from Seitu Allen of NYMTC staff, who will give an overview of the UPWP, after which we will request that the PFAC recommend the draft UPWP for council adoption today, with the council scheduled to adopt the UPWP at their annual meeting on February 29th. Next, an update on our transportation conformity efforts. Transportation conformity is required by the Clean Air Act to ensure that federal funding and approval are given to highway and transit projects that are consistent with or conform to air quality goals. As noted at our last meeting, NYMTC is undertaking a conformity determination in calendar year 2024 to accommodate several amendments to the current 2023 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program. Project data collection and coding has been completed and planning assumptions have been locked in. The New York best practice model will now be run for various future milestone years, and emissions of criteria pollutants will be forecast to ensure that emissions budgets for those milestone years are maintained. The draft conformity determination should be released for public review in mid to late April. The development of our next regional transportation plan, moving forward 2055, continues apace. The new plan will cover federal fiscal years 2026 to 2025. The public outreach program for the new plan has been largely completed, and the members' review and consideration of collected public feedback is underway. The new plan is scheduled to be adopted in September of 2025. Meanwhile, work has begun on the development of the next Transportation Improvement Program, or TIP. The TIP, which is also federally mandated, will define all of the federally funded transportation projects proposed for planning, design, and implementation in the NYMTC planning area across federal fiscal years 2026 to 2030. The members are reviewing projects in the current TIP and Regional Transportation Plan to see which will be included in the new Transportation Improvement Program. Later in the spring, the members will consider new projects proposed for the new TIP. As with moving forward 2055, we anticipate adoption of the new 2026 to 2030 Transportation Improvement Program in September of 2025. NYMTC held the second meeting of our Thriving Communities Network last month. The focus of the meeting was to share with community leaders and non-governmental organizations the many data tools available through NYMTC that can help them in making transportation decisions and applying for federal, state, and local transportation funds. Network attendees also enjoyed a panel discussion among representatives of several communities that participated in our community planning workshops. Representatives from North Castle, Mount Pleasant, and Valley Stream shared their experiences in preparing for and hosting their workshops, and how those efforts are being translated into transportation improvement plans for their communities. Another Thriving Communities Network meeting is scheduled for next month, and the next community planning workshops are coming soon. We have updates on the several studies that are underway or imminent. Our regional waste movement study held its second public workshop on December 13th, and its first technical advisory committee meeting on January 26th. As with our earlier meeting on this vital issue, input from the public and the advisory committee was passionate and well-informed. Our Palisades Shared Use Path feasibility study is underway, with the first public workshop scheduled for March 5th. Visit the project website at palisadespathstudy.com for more info. Other efforts include the Northern Westchester East-West Corridor Study, a study on safety and security needs and technologies for NYMTC suburban counties, and a transit service coordination needs assessment. These topics emerge from various levels of public and municipal input, as well as from recommendations of the Regional Transportation Plan mentioned earlier. A few additional items worth mentioning: a quick update on the efforts of NYMTC's traffic microsimulation modeling staff, which recently provided assistance to New York State DOT. Those contributions helped secure a $150 million National Infrastructure Project Assistance Program mega grant for the Cross Bronx Expressway multimodal connector. The modeling team is available for similar efforts with our members as needed and continues to implement selected enhancements to the 2019 New York BPM. Next, NYMTC had another successful travel survey community of practice meeting just yesterday. Attendance was once again robust, with many member agencies participating. Mark Seaman and his team from New York City DOT presented on the citywide mobility survey, and Dr. Jimmy Armugam, affiliated with Université Gustave Eiffel in France, discussed his work on the survey harmonization with new technologies improvement, or SHANTI project. The next meeting of the Community of Practice is planned for April. NYMTC hosted another very successful brown bag event on February 1st, entitled Suburban Bus Redesign Initiatives. The event included discussions from our members in Putnam, Suffolk, and Westchester counties as they described their UPWP-funded efforts to improve their bus networks. NYMTC brown bag events are now attaining 8 ICP certification credit and are being advertised through the American Planning Association. So virtual attendees are coming from far beyond our borders, including Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Vermont. Upcoming events will focus on New York State's electric vehicle initiative, the Vision Zero program in Hoboken, and freight developments in eastern Pennsylvania. We hope to see you there. As I close my report, I want to thank the staff here at NYMTC as well as our members for all of your hard work. Your dedication and service to the people of New York City, Long Island, and the Lower Hudson Valley is, as always, very much appreciated. And with that, I'll pass the virtual microphone back over to Deborah.
Great. Thank you, Adam. And I echo that thanks and appreciation. It's clearly been a very productive period. And, thank you to you and all the NYMTC staff for all the good work that you do on behalf of the NYMTC Council. It's some great work going on. Thank you. And it's now my pleasure to introduce Seitu Allen of NYMTC staff, who will give us a presentation on NYMTC's Unified Planning Work Program. Seitu?
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you. There we go.
Great, thank you. So thanks everyone for joining this presentation. This will just be a brief overview of the Unified Planning Work Program, draft Unified Planning Work Program. One second while we do the echo. Cool. The draft State Fiscal Year 24-25 Unified Planning Work Program. So what is the Unified Planning Work Program? Well, the Unified Planning Work Program, otherwise called the UPWP, it serves as NYMTC's annual budget and it's updated and adopted each year. The UPWP, it describes both how NYMTC will use federal transportation planning dollars for transportation planning activities in the NYMTC region. It also describes other non-UPWP funded planning activities that are expected to be undertaken during the upcoming program year. And for those who may not know, the state fiscal year covers the period between April 1st, 2024 and March 31st, 2025. So like many of NYMTC's products, the development of the Unified Planning Work Program is guided by the shared goals that are defined in NYMTC's long-range plan, Regional Transportation Plan, which is currently Plan 2050 moving forward. And those shared goals include safety and security, reliable and easy travel, planning for changing demand, reducing environmental impacts, and resiliency. So the Unified Planning Work Program that NYMTC produces can be thought of as having two sections. One is a core program, which relates to the required work of the MPO to comply with federal requirements, and also a discretionary program, which expands the scope of the planning process. First, we'll cover the core program and talk about some of the highlights for the upcoming program year. As Adam already mentioned during his Executive Director's report, NYMTC is very much involved in developing the next Regional Transportation Plan, which is Plan 2055. And the plan, it serves as a blueprint which defines and describes potential federal investments in the region over a minimum 20-year period. And this document defines the long-range needs of the NYMTC planning area. As Adam already indicated, the next Regional Transportation Plan must be in place by October 1st of 2025. In addition, NYMTC over the next program year, 24-25, will develop another Unified Planning Work Program. And in addition to the work program describing the core work of the MPO, It's also an opportunity for the member agencies to define projects which could lead to potential transportation investments or projects which could be reflected in the plan as well as the TIP. Also, as Adam indicated previously, NYMTC will be developing a new transportation improvement program, which will be covering federal fiscal years 2026 through 2050, and that also must be in place by October 1st of 2025. In addition to that core work, the development of the plan, the UPWP, and the TIP, NYMTC will certainly undertake certain analyses, such as estimating future and current and future congestion through some of our modeling processes, as well as conducting emissions analyses to estimate the emissions impacts of the projects and programs in the TIP and the plan on air quality within the region. So as mentioned before, NYMTC's UPWP can be thought of as having two main parts, the core program and discretionary. And NYMTC's discretionary program has nearly 50 discretionary activities or projects that are funded within it. Most of those discretionary projects are managed by the member agencies, although some are managed by NYMTC staff. The next couple of slides, just 2 slides, provide just a brief summary of some of the projects in the UPWP, along with some of the shared topics that emerged from what's been proposed for next year's work program. One of those shared topics is safety. That's a pretty important issue for the NYMTC region. And I'll just give a highlight to the Clarkstown Safety and Sustainability Study for the Route 303 and 304 corridors, as well as Putnam County's efforts to do complete streets initiatives within their county. In addition, freight's an important issue, and New York City in particular has programmed several studies in the UPWP for freight initiatives. For example, the Planning for Citywide Goods Movement, which is proposed by the New York City Department of City Planning, as well as the Freight Hub and Flow Analysis Project proposed by New York City Department of Transportation. Then we have sub-area studies, again, another one that Adam talked about earlier, which is the Palisades Shared Youth Path Feasibility Study, which is an ongoing effort that is being managed by NYMTC staff, and it's also an effort that actually crosses state borders. It involves both Rockland County and also participants from the northern New Jersey region. Then we have data collection, which is an important aspect of both the core program and the discretionary program. I'll just mention as a highlight the Long Island Railroad Origin and Destination Survey Project, which is being proposed by the MTA, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, and that's related to the Post-East Side Access Survey. And then finally, not finally, but another one is transit improvements. One example would be the improving mobility for aging population, which is being proposed by the County of Westchester. So in terms of the overall funding for the work program, the 24-25 UPWP proposes, or rather programs, $65 million in funding for the activities within it. Most of that funding, roughly 65%, is going for NYMTC staff operations. And of the 65% that's going to NYMTC staff operations, roughly 90% of that is for core program activities. In contrast, the member agencies, as you can see by this graph, receive quite a bit of funding through what we call a pass-through program, and that pass-through program funds both core program work as well as discretionary activities that are proposed by the member agencies. Of the roughly 35% of the total funding that's going to the member agencies, roughly 80% is actually for discretionary activities, and the remaining 20 is work of the member agency staff in support of NYMTC's core program work. So this has just been a really brief overview of NYMTC's proposed work program for the 24-25 state fiscal year. I'd like to thank the member agencies and NYMTC staff for their efforts in developing this work program. Also, I want to give a shout out to my colleagues, Jumi Lee and Milton LaPerna, who are very much involved in the development of the document, as well as my colleagues Joy Britton and Kimberly Estes, who are involved in some of the invoice review and some of the administrative support to enable this program to be implemented. Also, again, thanks to NYMTC staff and the member agency staff for all of their efforts in developing this work program. In a few minutes, NYMTC staff will ask the PFAC to adopt this UPWP, to recommend this draft UPWP for council adoption.
Great, thank you, Seitu. Very informative, and it really highlights the importance and the value of the coordination and the collaboration among the NYMTC members to develop this unified work program. Very, very helpful. Really appreciate it. So now we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. Let's see. Oh, so the next item is the public participation. We'll now begin the public participation segment of this meeting. We'll hear from registered speakers with prepared remarks. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to give their remarks, and we will hear from these participants in the order that they have registered. We ask that all speakers limit their comments to relevant transportation and planning related items. Andrea, do we have any registered speakers for today's meeting?
No, we do not.
We do not. Okay, thank you. Well, then we will move on to the action items on the agenda. All material related to these action items have been posted on the NYMTC website at www.nymtc.org. So the first action is to accept the November 16th, 2023 meeting synopsis. I will ask all voting members to announce your name and the agency you represent when you make or second a motion. May I have a motion to accept the November 16th, 2023 meeting synopsis?
So moved, Craig Waiter, Westchester County.
Thank you, Craig. May I have a second?
Joe Cuomo, Nassau County, second.
Thank you, Joe. Does anyone object to the motion? All right, then hearing no objections, the meeting synopsis is accepted. Thank you all. So the next action item has to do with the presentation that we just saw. The action item is to adopt a resolution number 572, a recommendation of the state fiscal year 2024 to 2025 United Planning Work Program. As I said, we were just presented the material on this so that members are, I think, I ask you now if you're able to vote. So I'm going to may I have a motion to adopt resolution number 572, recommendation of the state fiscal year 2024 to 2025 Unified Planning Work Program.
Motion, Pat Gurdon, Rockland County.
Thank you, Pat. May I have a second?
Second, New York City DOT, Yogesh Sangvi.
Thank you, Yogesh. Is there any discussion? Okay, so now we'll do a vote by roll call. So we're going to start first in the Lower Hudson Valley, Putnam County.
Aye, Barbara Barossa, Putnam County.
Okay, so Rockland County,
Aye.
Westchester County.
Aye.
Okay, moving over to Long Island, Nassau County,
Aye.
Suffolk County.
Aye.
Thank you. And New York City, we'll go with New York City Department of Transportation
Aye.
and New York City Department of City Planning.
Aye.
Okay, and then finally, Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Tiana Grimes, aye.
Thank you. And then New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. The motion passes. The next action item is to adopt resolution number 573, amendments to federal fiscal years 2022 to 2050 regional transportation plan for the major metropolitan transportation investment. I will now ask Leslie Forger of NYMTC staff to introduce this resolution. Leslie?
Thank you, Deborah. Good morning, everyone. I'm here to discuss Resolution 573. Resolution 573 will basically amend our existing information. More like an update to the existing information on the Hudson Tunnel project. The project is currently in the plan, but we have received new financial information and other information that updates the information. So in order to maintain fiscal constraint, NYMTC staff recommends that you adopt Resolution 573. That is all.
Thank you, Leslie. So may I have a motion to adopt resolution number 573, amendments to federal fiscal years 2022 to 2050 regional transportation plan for a major metropolitan transportation investment?
So moved. Jack Schmidt, New York City Department of City Planning.
Thank you, Jack. May I have a second?
Second, Craig Waiter, Westchester County.
Thank you, Craig. Is there any discussion? All right, and now we will vote by roll call. Again, starting in the lower Hudson Valley. Putnam County,
Aye.
Rockland County,
Aye.
Westchester County,
Aye.
and moving to Long Island, Nassau County,
Aye.
Suffolk County.
Aye.
Then in New York City Department of Transportation,
Aye.
New York City Department of Transportation.
Aye.
Thank you. New York City Department of City Planning.
Aye.
And finally, Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Aye, Tiana Grimes.
Thank you. And New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. And that motion passes. The next action item for this meeting is to adopt Resolution 574, amendments to the federal fiscal years 2023 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program. I'll now ask Yev Galinsky of NYMTC staff to introduce this resolution.
Good morning, members. I'm here to introduce Resolution 574, an amendment to the... Oh, there we go, sorry. Good morning, members. I'm here to introduce the Resolution 574, an amendment to the 2023 to 2027 NYMTC Transportation Improvement Program to include the Hudson Tunnel Project. The Gateway Development Corporation is the project sponsor and they initiated this project. The project itself is included in the, as Leslie just mentioned in the previous presentation, is included in the 2022 to 2050 Regional Transportation Plan, and is classified as exempt in the original emissions analysis for the current conformity determination. The fiscal constraint of the 2023 to 2027 TIP will be maintained with the addition of this project. This is a project of regional significance. As per a memorandum of understanding between NYMTC members, PFAC is authorized to act on behalf of the council to include this project in the NYMTC TIP. One last important item to note, the proposed project description that was previously provided has been revised. It now includes additional information about the sources of funding. Now, this revision did not alter the scope, schedule, or overall cost of this project. And NYMTC recommends the adoption of this resolution. Thank you.
Deborah, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Yev. And may I now have a motion to adopt Resolution 574, amendments to the federal fiscal years 2023 to 2027 Transportation Improvement Program.
So moved. Barbara Barosa, Putnam County.
Thank you, Barbara. May I have a second?
Second, Jack Schmidt, New York City Department of City Planning.
Thank you, Jack. Is there any discussion? All right, we will vote by roll call. Putnam County.
Aye.
Rockland County.
Aye.
Westchester County.
Aye.
Nassau County.
Aye.
Suffolk County.
Aye.
New York City Department of Transportation.
Aye.
New York City Department of City Planning.
Aye.
Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Aye, Tiana Grimes.
And New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. The motion passes. Moving on to, we have a very busy agenda today. Moving on to our next action item of this meeting is to adopt resolution number 575, support of New York State targets under the Federal Transportation Performance Management requirements. I will now ask John Simpson of NYMTC staff to introduce this resolution. John?
Thank you, Deborah. As part of the required transportation performance metrics, NYMTC is required to adopt highway safety measures. We are supporting the state's.
Okay, all right. So, as part of the federally required transportation performance measures, NYMTC is required to adopt highway safety targets as part of the Highway Safety Improvement Program. The targets are attached to the resolution. These are annual targets, and as NYMTC has the option of supporting the targets set by New York State, NYMTC staff recommends adopting choosing to support the New York State targets as part of this motion.
Thank you, John. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 575 to support the New York State targets under the Federal Transportation Performance Management requirements?
Joe Cuomo, Nassau County, makes a motion to adopt Resolution 575.
Thank you, Joe. May I have a second?
Second, Pat Gurdon, Rockland County.
Thank you, Pat. Is there any discussion? All right, we will once again vote by roll call, starting in the lower Hudson Valley. Putnam County.
Aye.
Rockland County.
Aye.
Westchester County.
Aye.
Moving to Long Island, Nassau County.
Aye.
Suffolk County.
Aye.
Moving to the city, New York City Department of Transportation.
Aye.
New York City Department of City Planning.
Aye.
And now Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Aye, Tiana Grimes.
And New York State Department of Transportation votes aye. Thank you all. The motion passes. So pleased to let you know that the NYMTC's annual council meeting is scheduled to take place in 2 weeks on Thursday, February 29th, leap day, 2024 at the Alexander Hamilton U.S. Customs House right down in Lower Manhattan. We are very fortunate to have 2 confirmed keynote speakers for this meeting. That includes FTA's Deputy Administrator, Veronica Vanterpool, as well as FHWA's Administrator, Shaylin Bott. Additional details of this meeting will be posted on NYMTC's website, and we hope to see you all there. So the next PFAC meeting is scheduled for Thursday, April 18th, 2024. And again, details of this meeting will be made available 2 weeks prior to the meeting date. So to conclude today's meeting, I ask a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Joe Cuomo, Nassau County, makes a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Joe. May I have a second?
Second, Barbara Burrows, Putnam County.
Thank you, Barbara. Does anyone object to this motion? All right. Well, hearing none, this meeting is adjourned, and I thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.